different there.
Hey, Ray, we're further away.
Bang the gavel to do that? I don't know what Joan does over here. I'm usually sleeping.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
Pay attention.
Call to order. I'm supposed to give the start time. Open session starts at 7:06. And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Richard, will you lead us?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you going to be messing with the substitute teacher
Okay.
all day?
Roll call?
Trustee Faust?
Here.
Trustee Rushane?
Here.
Trustee Levy?
Here.
Trustee Gould?
Here.
And I understand Ms. Weideman is out sick tonight. Yes.
Closed session. Action was taken on expulsion hearing case number 2014-03-12. 4-0 approval on expulsion. Okay. Approval of the minutes from March 12th, 2014. Do I have a motion?
Move approval. Second.
All in favor? So no, we're not doing roll calls, right?
No,
Okay. Okay.
only if we have ununanimous.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Richard. Approval of the agenda and consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the
Got a
agenda
second?
and consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Passes 4-0.
So far, it's pretty easy.
Don't get cocky.
That's when it all goes downhill.
Really? Okay, now I'm all the way over to the, see, I'm not used to this paper thing, communication. This portion of the agenda is available to the public to address the board on any issue that is not on the agenda. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is 3 minutes. LSEA?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
CSEA? People wishing to address the board? Correspondence? Board Superintendent Communications? Anybody want to start?
I'll start. So let's see, since we last met, I attended the IVL open house, our work study that we had, the Math Common Core meeting that took place, and I also participated in part of the interview process for the new director for Pacifica School Volunteers, and I'm pleased to announce that we do have a new director of the School Volunteers, Ms. Kathy Abel, and hopefully she will appear at some future board meeting to introduce herself to us.
Great.
Let's see, since we last met, I attended the Future Chefs Dining at Ballamore, which was great as usual. I didn't get to judge this year, I'm not sure why that was, but Ray did a fine job. Snacked on everything. A career night at Cabrillo, which was a huge success, great attendance. I was able to go to Diversity Day at Ocean Shore and Ability Awareness Day at Sunset Ridge, which were both great. I attended the Skyline College President's Breakfast with the superintendent. About 400 people and a presentation. And one of the interesting things is we talked about was the middle school program. And I'll let the superintendent talk about that. I got to witness the what we call the fire drill of the Smarter Balance testing. I saw it at Ballamore and then was able to sit in with Tina and staff on the review afterwards. And I have to say, you know, everybody at all the sites really worked hard to make it happen. and it's a work in progress, and, absolutely everything did not work as we'd hoped it might, as we feared it would not, which is why we tested, and it just shows the weaknesses of our technology. We have this new model of technology, and we don't really have the infrastructure to support it yet. And I know later on they're going to say we need to spend more money to do that. Big surprise. Also went to the collaborative, and last night I went to the Valley Mar open house, where I saw Matt, but Matt was being a parent, so that didn't count.
Okay. I was a parent, but I was buttonholed by somebody who actually said, "Are you on the school board?" So I don't know if that allows me to.
Oh, you get half credit.
But I finished junior achievement in Debbie Little's class, and I missed them already. Tell them I missed them. I attended. We had a work study since the PTO have work study since then. I also went to the IBL math meeting, and I also attended the Spindrift dance performances at the new Terra Nova Theater, which is my first time being inside there. So I got to see all the kids from all the schools dance, which is awesome. I look forward to that every year. It's a highlight of my year.
Let's see, I was at the work study, I was at the PEF-PTO, the IBL. Wellness Committee met, and I would give my report out, but I think that Ray's going to do that, so hopefully there won't be anything that he missed, because he never missed anything. I graded the Mars task with all the teachers. I graded 4th grade, and after having spent about 20 hours grading my own district's Mars test, so that was a lot of Mars tests for me to be doing. But that was a great meeting of all of the teachers to kind of see what our students are doing in math, and then because of all that grading of Mars tests, I went to see the Going Buggy at Sunset Ridge, the musical, and it was great. And the kids were so cute, and Spindrift does a nice job with our kids, and that relationship we have with Spindrift is really special.
And for me, I would just, I did attend some of the similar places and events. Skyline for the middle school outreach, they have what they call programs of innovation, and one of the programs is around fostering relationships at the middle school level. So it's something that I want to investigate for us. I know that they have students in San Bruno Park, one of the schools in San Bruno Park. So maybe they can venture down the hill, on this side of the hill, and participate with us in some of the programs maybe. I'm also thinking about wondering if they have like a future teachers group, or maybe we can start establishing something like that. So I'm going to need to reach out to Skyline and see if there are some things that we might be able to potentially do. I participated not in the Mars portion of the Mars task portion, scoring portion of the professional development, but we did begin this opportunity to work with those teachers who do not teach math, who therefore do not necessarily need to be able to learn about the Mars task. And we introduced to them, which are our social science teachers, our science teachers, and our English language arts teachers, and our music teachers, they attended as well. Expository reading and writing curriculum, ERWC, which was developed at the college level because there were many students who were coming to college and not able to write, and not able to access their text. And so there is a curriculum that is established where teachers would be able to structure their lessons and their units of study so that it gets to assist the students in thinking through and how to look at text. So we also provided project-based learning. We attended the Buck Institute. It's called BIE, I think, .com if you Google it. And they are one of the leads in project-based learning. Some of the school districts in San Mateo County are providing that type of professional development. So we were able to go to one of those trainings and found it to be very, very strong. So Steve Kiesel will be able to take our district through, and maybe if there is a desire, to bring some of that consultant work to our science and social science teachers. Last but not least, we did get some wonderful news about Sunset Ridge receiving the Kent Awards. I hope everybody read about it in the Tribune today, and so we're very excited for the school and it's around art, something that is so important and part of our community, the Sanchez Art Center, and how they support the process. So we congratulate. Pardon? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
So now we have a presentation, the Family Resource Center at Sunset Ridge.
So I'm pleased to introduce Donovan, is it Phones? Phones, who is the interim Family Resource Center supervising mental health clinician. We were very fortunate to be one of the districts that San Mateo County felt would be able to provide a great service to the community and have a family resource center in our district. I immediately thought of Sunset Ridge, and Allie and Joanne Simonson came with me to introductory meeting, and we definitely felt that would be a wonderful addition. Currently, I think they just started. Tomorrow at the open house, if you're going to attend, they are going to have a grand opening. So with that, Donovan, if you might present, yes, you come to the podium.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, we're very excited to start this service at Sunset Ridge. It's part of our overall effort to expand the family resource centers in San Mateo County. I spent 8 years myself providing counseling services at Bayshore and Robertson School in Daly City, before taking on the supervisory position. Erika Morales Cruz is the name of the new counselor working at Sunset Ridge. So I'd like to take a minute just to describe sort of the purpose of having a counselor there and some of the services she'll be providing. She's going to be providing a variety of counseling services to the children and families. Generally, these families are referred by teachers, by parents themselves, by community members. And we're really, our role there is to provide preventative and early intervention mental health services. To try to, prevent problems from worsening. But really, our overall goal is to help the schools and help the children be more successful in school by meeting those mental health needs, those family issues that are going on. In addition to the counseling services, which includes individual counseling, family counseling, group counseling, I believe Erica's already received 18 referrals. She started on April 1st. So it's when we gave the presentation in the staff meeting, all the teachers' eyes were very wide, and we were a little bit nervous about that, and sure enough, we're getting lots of referrals, but it really shows that it was a good choice in terms of having the counselor be based at this school. In addition to the counseling piece, this person hasn't been hired yet, but there's also going to be a benefit analyst from the county who's going to be providing families with information about food stamps, Medi-Cal, how to navigate the new health care law, immigrant status, those kinds of things. And so the concept of the Family Resource Center is really to provide sort of a holistic approach to helping children with the issues that teachers just are unable to do, including the mental health, but also meeting their basic economic needs as well. So that's kind of a little rundown on what Erica will be doing. She has years of experience working for a human services agency in San Mateo County. And so she's really excited about beginning this job, and I believe she's off to a good start. Meeting teachers, parents, family. She's going to be bringing the same flyers you have in front of you tomorrow to the, is it back to school? No, it's not back to, open house, thank you. Yeah, it's a little too late for back to school night. But that's sort of a brief rundown on the services.
Do you have any questions?
I'm just curious, what kind of hours will she be keeping? Like, when is she there?
So she's going to be there 4 days a week. Part of the Measure A contract stipulation was that it was 4 days a week at the site and then 1 day a week serving child welfare families. So she'll be in the regional office 1 day a week. So her schedule is going to be, she's going to be there Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Wednesday, she'll be at the regional office. I believe her hours are 8:30 to 5. So, she'll be there and hopefully be able to catch some of the parents, when they're picking up their kids, dropping off their kids at school. But, we're also flexible, and so she can also, occasionally stay late when she needs to catch up with parents, to meet with them, and things of that nature. Because we're county employees, the families need to sign a variety of forms, consent forms, release forms, that gives us the legal right to be able to communicate with the school about the family issues. So we make sure that we meet with the families, with the parents, or the guardians before we start providing services to the children.
Thanks. I think we're very grateful to the county.
Yeah, I just want to comment on that, and thank you and the county and the staff for reaching out. I mean, Measure A is a huge new pot of money, and the county supervisors are trying to spread it around the county to meet some overlooked needs, and I'm glad to see that we're trying to get our share of it, and maybe more than our share of it, as our every other jurisdiction. But thank you. I think it's obviously, if you're already getting that many referrals, it clearly is a need.
Right.
I do want to add the health benefit analyst will spend 2 days up at Sunset Ridge and then 2 days at IBL to try to support the rest of the community who might not venture up the hill. So we want to try to get access to the health benefits person as much as possible.
Yeah, I appreciate the work. It's my school, and it's my neighbors, and it's my friends, and I see people in need that don't know how to do the systems, and so to have that on campus is going to be.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the roles too. I mean, there are going to be some families that have a higher level of need than we can provide, but we can help them navigate through that system if we need to refer them to behavioral health services or access their own health care in order to get the services that they need. So that's part of it. It's not just providing therapy, it's school social work, right? And so it's supporting teachers, it's consulting with teachers about strategies to deal with whatever behaviors that they're seeing to help support the children. So it goes above and beyond just the counseling session with the kids. There's a lot of things we end up doing in the schools. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I just have to say, it's love at first sight.
Okay. We need
District business, School Personnel Appreciation Month, 2013-14, Day of the Teacher and Teacher Appreciation Week, and Classified School Employee Week.
So this is a very exciting time of the school year that we get to acknowledge and honor all of our dedicated teachers and classified employees. As we approach the month of May, it's School Personnel Appreciation Month. So I have 2 resolutions to present tonight. The first resolution I will be presenting to Debbie Little, President of the Laguna Salada Education Association. And then the second resolution I will be presenting to Lisa Kern, President of our California School Employees Association. So I thank those ladies for being here tonight to represent their organizational groups. So the first resolution, and would you like me to do it here or up?
Because of the.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so this goes to LSEA in honor of Day of the Teacher and Appreciation Week. Resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, that whereas a strong, effective system of free public school education for all children and youth is essential to our democratic system of government, and whereas today's teachers nurture the academic, social, emotional, and physical development of students preparing the workforce of the future, and whereas no other profession touches as many persons with such a lasting effect, and whereas good teaching grows in value and pays dividends far beyond the classroom, and whereas May 5th through May 9th, 2014 has been designated Teacher Appreciation Week by the National PTA, and CTA has proclaimed May 6, 2014 as Day of the Teacher. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District proudly proclaims its appreciation for the outstanding job performed each and every day by the teachers of the district who through their gift of teaching enrich the lives of all their students. Thank you.
On behalf of all the teachers in the district and the LSEA, thank you.
Our next resolution is for Classified School Employee Week. Resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, County of San Mateo, State of California, that whereas classified school employees provide valuable services to the schools and students of the Pacifica School District, and whereas classified school employees contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment, and whereas classified school employees serve a vital role in providing for the welfare and safety of the Pacifica School District students, and whereas classified school employees employed by the Pacifica School District strive for excellence in all areas relative to the educational community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District hereby recognizes and honors the contribution of the classified school employees to quality education in the state of California and in the Pacifica School District, and declares the week of May 18th through the 24th, 2014 as Classified School Employee Week in the Pacifica School District. Thank you.
Okay, for resolution number 2014-04-09-B, recognizing May 5th to 9th, 2014 as National Teacher Appreciation Week, and May 6th, 2014 as Day of the Teacher, and resolution number 2014-04-09-C, recognizing May 18th through 24th, 2014 as Classified School Employee Week. Do we have a motion?
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor?
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Any comments?
Comments, discussion?
And I don't know what we could say that you've probably not already heard. I think all of us up here think that what you do is probably the most valuable job that's out there today. And our kids couldn't be where they are without all of you. Without the teachers giving of their time. I know you give so much to all of our kids, and the classifieds support them in that effort. So thank you for everything that you do.
Here.
I certainly appreciate what all of you do, and this is what the school district and education is all about, is the people who touch the children's lives every day. You are, the most important people in the district. So, other people would like to think they're pretty darn important, but nobody's more important than the people at the sites doing the good work. So, keep it up.
We have a new camera and we would like to take a picture.
Ooh, okay.
maybe the board and the teachers that are here and the classified that are here can move up to the front.
Very nice.
Did Richard work hands?
No.
Please.
One, two, and three.
Hi.
2 and 3.
It'll take a second.
To number health and wellness. Okay. That's, good. Mark finally got here.
He's been here for a while.
So, health and wellness committee update?
So Principal Mark Lorenzen, who is also the chair of the Health and Wellness Committee, will give the board a presentation tonight based upon the last committee meeting. Thank you, Mr. Lorenzen.
Good evening, good evening. Andrea, I just have to ask, was that a biased opinion when you say the teachers are the most important people?
Yeah, well, I happen to know that we are.
So in answer to your question, yes.
As most of you know, the Wellness Plan is a state and federally mandated plan to ensure that the district provides students with comprehensive nutrition education, physical activity, other school-based health learning experiences. It also mandates that all food sold on sites meet state and federal guidelines. So we've been doing those things, and we're very compliant with all those. Last week, the members of the Wellness Committee met to review our plan, plus the LCAP and the district's health education plan. We wanted to make sure the two plans, all three plans, were fully represented with each other, and we were happy to see that they were well linked. While the wellness plan provides guidelines, the draft LCAP and district health plan have specific goals and objectives for those guidelines, so it's really nice how these are linked in our district. During our review, we did find one area that needed better connection between the plans. Our district strongly believes that student wellness includes school climate and safety. While those values were clearly stated in the LCAP and the district plan, they were not included in the wellness plan. So the plan that that is in your packet before you shows our two similar recommendations to the plan statement and the other school-based learning experiences. I don't know, I'll just read one of them. Yeah, I'll tell them to you. In the statement of responsibility, we just wanted to add school climate and safety reinforces a healthy lifestyles and citizenship, because it didn't include that before, and we do so much to do that, and we thought it would be great to link that. And then we just, in agreement of that, in the second page, we put under school-based learning experiences, one of the things that we did outside of the three main tenets of the plan was to use positive climate reinforcement, like SWPBIS, school-wide positive intervention behavior systems, to promote healthy lifestyles and citizenship. So we thought this was an opportunity to make sure all three plans link together. It's a nice plan. We used to just have the wellness plan until our dear Dr. Tuckloff came on board, and now we have a whole health plan, which is great. And that tonight was evidence of that coming to fruition, so I'm very happy with that. Next year, we were coming up with an idea. One of the things we were coming up with was to begin work on a voluntary wellness ideas for staff members, things that we could do as a staff to get well. Voluntary, don't get upset, unions. That's just a joke. Ideas just like promoting district-wide hikes, exercise classes at schools, health contests, wearing those little meters that you wear, fit meters. And we got some ideas from the American Heart Association. They have employee programs, and also Andrea, who is on the committee, told me that at the San Mateo Union High School District, they actually have a position in that high school district for staff wellness. I don't know if that's the name of the position, but that's what they promoted. There's a guy that actually does that, and we've been in contact. So we're hoping that maybe that's one of the things that we can do next year, is sort of take it to the next level. And I don't know exactly what will happen, but you'll hear about that next year. But I'm sort of excited by the idea. It sort of sounds fun. So I don't know if you have any questions. No? That's always good. Bye.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, that.
All right. Next is Common Core State Standards Implementation Update.
Okay. And of course, I can't get my
Your
computer
computer's
to
not
work.
working.
That's right. Okay, bring it up because she's started.
We can't hear you whispering.
His slideshow. Yes, slide, yeah. From beginning. Thank you. Okay, so as we talked about, this year has been such a tremendous push for us in relationship to the implementation of the Common Core state standards, as well as the LCAP, Local Control Accountability Plan, and the LCFF, the Local Control Funding Formula. So we felt it important to update the board as we go because so many things keep moving and changing. We really see this shift as a great opportunity for us to go deeper into 21st century education. The whole notion of really looking and meeting the needs of all students. And then when we talk about LCFF and LCAP, it truly is trying to support the local needs of the school district. And so the legislators, I believe, have really tried to stay true to that aspect. Major areas of focus we'll be talking about in the Common Core state standards is the curriculum itself, the assessment and professional development that is involved in this shift. We'll talk about SBAC readiness, and that's the smarter balanced, the new assessment the state has embraced as far as doing a summative assessment for our students, and whether we're ready for it through the technology pieces and the other actions that we need to do for preparedness. And then the fiscal aspect of what's happening with LCFF, the new formula for the state in providing funding to the districts, and LCAP, which is the accountability plan that goes along with LCFF. And also where we are with the Common Core state standard spending plan, which we adopted last month, I believe. So for Common Core mathematics, Jefferson Union High School District selected the international pathway, which means that beginning next year, they will start phasing in an integrated approach to teaching mathematics as opposed to the traditional pathway of Algebra 1, geometry, etc. And so next year, our current graduating 8th graders will go into 9th grade and will take course 1. There are some of our students who were accelerated already who are taking geometry, so we'll be monitoring that, and they will move forward in the traditional pathway until Jefferson High School District moves through the process. And this is yours, sorry.
It's fine. You're doing a great job.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't mind at all. As most of you mentioned, we had a parent-community meeting to talk about how the high school pathways influence our pathways at the middle school level, because their pathways build in opportunities for students to reach calculus by the end of high school. We no longer have that burden placed on us. So the reason that we have continued our acceleration program, even though there's a lot of research to show that that segregating kids in middle school is not the best practice. It's better practice to keep them together until after middle school. We felt we needed to give our highest achieving math students that opportunity because it was the only way they were going to be able to reach calculus by the end of high school. Now that the high school has shifted, we had a meeting to explain that our pathways will no longer include acceleration in the middle school. And this is in partnership with the North County Math Collaborative. So all of the schools that feed into the high school district are doing the same thing. We do have a group of 7th graders, the current 7th graders, who were already started down an accelerated pathway, and then we wouldn't continue that anymore. So to meet the needs of those individual students, we're meeting with those individual teachers and those families to talk about what experience did their kids have this year and how can we ensure that their experience next year is rich and
meets their needs. And so that'll be kind of a site-based decision for this transition year. For textbook adoptions, we haven't found any materials that meet our needs for TK through 5. There doesn't seem to be anything that is comprehensive right now, but for 6-8 we brought last time, so we're moving ahead with the purchase of those materials. So we'll just continue to monitor that, and one way is to go to the county math materials fair. And we talked about the annual Mars task scoring that we just completed. Those results will be able to be presented to the board possibly in June, because usually we don't get the results from them until over the summer, but they're telling us that they may give them to us with the cut scores and how we performed compared to everyone else earlier this year. So June or August. What's next?
Okay, so for English language arts, did you have any questions about mathematics? Maybe we should take them one at a time. Any?
I was just going to ask if we can sort of keep track of the acceleration on an ongoing basis. So we have an idea, obviously, of how many students have been doing that up till now, and if we can continue to keep track of that to compare according to significant subgroups, because I know that there was an issue about whether students were being fairly accelerated, and so I just wanted to
Yeah, that's one of the main missions of the North County Math Collaborative, or forget what if it's coalition now. Anyway, consortium. That's what it is. North County Math Consortium. But that's one of the missions, and so we definitely will be looking at that. But making sure we report it back to the board, I think, is what we need to be reminded of. So thank you.
Well, then on that same note, we should always ask, and for our students who struggle and need extra support, what is the discussion by the collaborative, and are we continuing to track that data for those students who move on to the high school district?
Yeah, we are trying to keep, we have data now from 2010-11, so, we're trying to keep those cohorts together and see how they move forward. Okay, so for English language arts, we are completing one lab site currently at Ocean Shore. I had the opportunity to go and participate yesterday for a short period of time, and we're really focusing on the writing workshop right now. They will get the teachers will get a more robust writing workshop institute, the 5-day institute in August, but we wanted to try to give them kind of a prelude to what they will be getting. Valamar was April 1st through 3rd, and various grade levels are put together to have these lab sites. At Valamar, it was 6th through 8th grade, and at Ocean Shore this time it was kindergarten through 2nd, I believe. And then again, we are having our Teachers College Writing Workshop Institute the 18th through the 22nd, so we finally got that solidified and contracted out. We are continuing to look at instructional materials. Our purchase for this year would be to continue to enhance the classroom libraries. They need additional titles for nonfiction books, and we want to keep the titles current and up to date for the students. So we will be providing additional funds maybe every other year. Again, in our LCAP, we've written that we will develop some type of a budgeting process. And then for our special day classes, we were finding that just balanced literacy alone was not robust enough or deep enough, so we have looked at other curriculum options such as Red Rocket Readers, which still lends itself to a balanced literacy approach, but it allows for us to get a little more specific with the reading needs of the particular student. Any questions about English language arts? Yeah.
Is there a budget for the school libraries as opposed to the classroom libraries to buy materials?
Well, actually, the state does not provide funds for classroom libraries, school libraries per se. So what we have been able to do is to leverage the support of our PTOs. And they do a lot of fundraising in that way, to promote purchasing books for that. However, it is in our LCAP that something that we need to think about, because our school libraries are being used more and more by our students, which is fabulous. So it's kind of becoming a hub, and so that's probably one of those areas that we really need to start thinking about and focusing on.
Okay. The reason that I ask is that I've noticed that one of the things that the PTOs do is that they'll say make an Amazon wish list and ask people to go and buy books from those, which is awesome. But I think what that results in is it results in people, sort of randomly choosing books that sort of appeal to them, and I think that would be something, it would be good to sort of put some of that funding under the control of librarians. So.
Right, true.
We've used this term lab sites before, and I don't know what that means.
Lab sites is really a teacher's college term. That's what they call when a trainer comes back to the district for a period of 3 days, and we have teachers be able to go into a classroom setting with the trainer, and the trainer models an aspect of the writing workshop or a piece that the teachers want to go deeper into in relationship to implementation of balanced literacy. So it's getting a small cohort of teachers with the trainer making observations. And if you ever have an opportunity to come and see that, I can send you the schedule. It really is fascinating, because it's like the students are her children as she's teaching them writing, and they're just going right along like she's their teacher, and then there are all these adults, and she will start talking to the adults but still teaching, and the students carry on.
I had the chance to attend a second grade one, and it was very interesting to watch, and she had a meeting with the teachers, and there was a group of second grade teachers from across the district that had come in for the day, and she had a meeting with them, and then she went and kind of had a meeting with the class, got them all together and said, okay, when I say these words, I want you kids to keep working, and when I say, that she had code words for the kids, so like, stop working or continue to work, and she would say, the code words for continue to work to the kids, and she would turn and talk to the adults in the room and about the behavior or stuff ideal that she had just modeled for them.
So a little like a demonstration classroom.
Yes.
A mini demonstration classroom. Okay. Technology hardware.
You weren't gonna.
No.
Okay, so as Wendy mentioned, the Smarter Balanced Assessment is computer-based, and so we, at the beginning of this school year, got a group of people together to look at what kind of technology we had in our classrooms and what it would take to be able to complete the Smarter Balanced test in a 2-week window, because that's what we're used to being able to test in. And so we said that let's look at what we would need to have a technologically equipped school, a technologically equipped classroom. Where would we like to see our school? And then in the course of getting there, how can we also meet the needs of this test? And so the next couple slides will tell you what we came up with for a technologically equipped everything. So for a school, we said that right now we still need our schools to have a tech lab with computers that have hard drives, because everything's not cloud-based yet. And those settings would also need a projector, document cameras, speakers for showing videos and having sound, and cloud-ready printers. That the special education classrooms would need computers with hard drives, at least 1 or 2, or whatever the teacher felt was necessary, and perhaps might need large screen monitors and printers. And that every school should have a presentation space that is functional with a projector, screen, and a sound system. Then we moved to the classroom level, that every classroom should have a teacher laptop. The teachers should all have tablets. We said, at this point, we said tablets because in the future, we might be able to accommodate other types of tablets. Right now, we are limiting ourselves to iPads because we know that we can manage them. But who knows? So the tablet would also need a mirroring device so that the students could see what the teacher was doing, or the teacher could hand it to a student and all the students could see what the other student was doing. Right now, Apple TV is one such mirroring device. That was an example. Every classroom should have a document camera, a ceiling-mounted LCD projector, or a large flat-screen monitor so that we get those projectors out of the center of the room. And then convenient access to printers. And then specific to each grade level classroom, we went into the student technology. For TK through second grade classrooms, we would like to see stations for students of Chromebooks so that they'd have access to Chromebooks on a regular basis, so 4 Chromebooks per classroom and 4 tablets per classroom. And then additionally, for every 4 classrooms, being able to bring in a full set of tablets so that all the kids could be on tablets at the same time. For 3rd through 5th grade, we shift a little less towards tablets, a little more towards Chromebooks. They would still have the Chromebook stations, and they would have access to a Chromebook cart so that they could have all students on Chromebooks for every 2 classrooms. So 2 classrooms would share a set of Chromebooks. And then for every 4 classrooms, there'd be a classroom set of tablets. And then in 6th through 8, the teachers did not see a need for stations in every classroom, but that they would like to share a set of Chromebooks between every 2 classrooms and a set of tablets between every 4 classrooms. And so those recommendations were developed through this committee of small group of people, and then it went through the STEM leads for feedback from every single teacher. And so that's how we came up with that guiding document. So what we've done so far is we've upgraded or replaced lab computers across the district, and we have purchased enough Chromebooks to theoretically get the Smarter Balance test done in a 2-week window. We also hired another support technician to help us manage all of these new devices. We completed our Smarter Balance fire drill on March 27th, and we learned that our Wi-Fi just will not handle this number of devices. So we have enough devices, but we don't have enough Wi-Fi to be able to have all of these devices running at the same time. And so the lab computers worked well. But we need to increase our bandwidth and replace our wireless system. So we won't be able to get the testing done in a 2-week window this year because we won't be able to utilize all the Chromebooks at the same time the way that we had hoped we would be able to. But the schools are being very cooperative and adjusting their schedules, and it's a field test, so there's not the pressure to get it done in a certain amount of time for, having it. It's more about getting the experience and getting all the kids to have an opportunity to see what the test is like and have the teachers see what the test is like. As it says there, replacing our wireless system will be an added cost that we, I think, had not really anticipated we would need to do so quickly or have to do all in one fell swoop. We're looking now at consultants. First, before we replace the wireless system, we need to have a survey done. We need to have a site survey for all the sites to find out what kind of a system would work best, how many entry points or access points we need, what kind of routers, all of that. So we're researching consultants to perform that. There are a lot of districts in the area who have either just had them done or are also planning on getting them done. So we know that the cost of replacing our wireless system is likely to run around $200,000, maybe a little less. And so the board has been putting aside, you've already budgeted to put aside $200,000 per year out of lease funds for technology. And that would be to implementing the tech plan that I just talked about to get to technologically equipped classrooms. But we might need to postpone next year's purchases or rebudget or something in order to replace this wireless system. Because right now, the teachers can tell you it's not very effective to keep buying more technology that we can't use reliably with the Wi-Fi system the way it is. So we'll be first looking at that infrastructure and developing a timeline for using our $200,000 per year budget to see how long it would take us to get to this technologically equipped classrooms. It is a work in progress, so as technology changes and as we move forward, we'll be able to keep that fresh. And of course, replacement schedules and long-term planning is part of what we're looking at, not just buying a bunch of stuff and then saying, okay, we're done, but talking about how we need to have a replenishment schedule.
Are there any questions on the technology?
Should go back.
Just, if would the replacement most likely happen over the summer? Is that when we
Of the Wi-Fi?
Yeah,
That's our goal, yes.
And then how would we be able to test between the summer and the spring if we thought, do we just get everybody together and have them all access ST Math at the same time to see if that, I'm assuming there are other ways of testing the Wi-Fi.
Right, and that's partly why we need a consultant, because I think that they know how to do that. But that's definitely part of the questions that we're asking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I guess my concern is, what's our goal? I mean, we did wireless upgrades
Yes.
several years ago.
Good question. Yes.
So
when we did the wireless upgrades several years ago, the goal was to have, 2 devices on in each classroom or something like that. So now our goal is going to be to have 35 devices on per classroom. That's what we've said, so that there could be the students and then the teacher devices without a problem.
But is that going to be enough? Because while you have a classroom and 35 devices, you also have devices all over the school that are being used.
So here's the thing, is that the limited amount of consulting conversations we've had so far, there's a big price difference once you start trying to get more than that on. And so there's a lot of other ways that we can address that. I mean, do we want to or need to have everybody who walks in the building's device go onto the wireless and, update their apps or check their Facebook or, you know what I mean? So that's something that will come with the site survey. If you want to have this many devices on, here's what it'll cost you. If you want to have this many devices on, here's what it'll cost you. If you want to talk about limiting how much streaming can happen, here's how you can do that. So we'll have all these different, ways to look at it.
Okay. I guess I'm less concerned about people walking through the door and being able to upgrade and sign on, although that's not something to be dismissed totally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned that 2 or 3 years from now, it's not cards per 2 classrooms, it's cards per 1 classroom.
Right, and that's
our
no.
teaching need becomes doubled, and I'd hate to sit here 2 or 3 years
And I
from
think
now.
cards per 1 classroom is what we're aiming for with the wireless, but not more than that. That's what I'm thinking. So 35 devices per classroom.
What's this here per 2 classrooms?
That's for the devices that we're talking about purchasing, but I'm talking about the wireless would be able to handle 35 per classroom.
Okay.
That's what the current thinking is in the conversations we've been having with the consultants.
Okay. I guess, it's a fundamental problem. We're always behind the curve. By the time we install the upgrade, this technology has moved on.
Yes.
So we're almost guaranteed to be behind, so
Right.
trying to speculate the direction it's going to go.
The other thing is most of the systems that people are adopting now are service contracts. So if you need to change things within the period of the contract, then that's part of the deal. So that's another piece that's,
I guess I'd like, when you come bring it back, I'd
Yeah.
like to see that laid out so
Absolutely.
that we can decide whether or not we want to go for a
Yes.
Cadillac or, where to try and save it for next time.
And then there's always the consideration of you've got plenty of wireless, but if you don't have the bandwidth, then it doesn't matter how great the wireless is.
and that's already
you can-
planned for upgrade over the summer as well. That was already planned before, that we're going from 100 to 300.
Whatever that means.
Something. I want to say, yeah, I can never remember the term mega somethings.
But it's 3 times as much as we have.
We're going to have 3 times as much. We're going from 100 to 300.
Whatever it takes.
We're tripling our capacity.
Right.
Okay. So, where are we with LCFF and LCAP? So we are working on the LCAP draft. We've finalized our goals and our action steps with the DLT and going through the process we have since the fall. We are working on the completion of the template. Section 2 are the goals and the progress indicators, which means we have to develop metrics in which to demonstrate that we are going to attain our goals. And then Section 3 are those actions and services and expenditures as to how we're going to achieve the goals. So it's really kind of, it's not as user-friendly as I had hoped, but it is what it is. We're currently meeting with our labor partners in the process of doing that and going through what we have thus far. And then there will be a process where we'll take it to the schools to get their input as well. We are working with San Mateo County Office of Ed. This is the first year, so everybody is wanting a sample, and I don't necessarily want a sample because I want to write it the way we want to write it, and then let them tell us if we need to modify it or not. So the whole notion is go slow to go fast. So we want to take little baby steps now so that we will have a pretty solid plan for the future. As far as LCFF and other fiscal resources, part of the thing that we start talking about is how you take this whole chunk of money that we're getting at the state level and start looking at the numbers. And so as we talk about LCFF, the critical piece that we're hearing is to really talk about LCFF base, which means the per pupil allocations, the grade level allocations. If you're K3, you get a certain, or TK3, you get a certain amount, etc. And then there's the supplemental piece, which is really the targeted subgroups. For Pacifica, it's our English learners, and we get funds for low income and for foster youth. Foster youth right now is not currently a targeted subgroup for us. I believe 15 is the magic number, but we are at 14. So it will, I'm certain that we will reach that level. We also are program improvement school district. This year we will be frozen now that there is not a CST test, and the API is also frozen. So because we're a program improvement year 3 district, we did receive one-time money, and there's something with the computer screen. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a couple of reminders.
Oh, it's one time, so by September 2015, it must be spent. And the additional dollars came to $50,000 per school that are NPI in our district, which are 2. So we received $100,000. The other thing that we need to, I don't know, yeah, I think we've received it already. We got notice. The other thing we need to think about and look at is our LEAP, which is the local educational
Agency.
Association.
Local Education Association Plan.
Than't you.
Gosh, you're confused by the acronym.
That's the one I know.
So we're going to be, we developed the LEAP in conjunction with when we were developing the LCAP. So I believe it's a compliance issue. We already have one in place. We're updating it to reflect the input we received as we were gathering that data for LCAP and LEAP, and we will be bringing that forward. Is that the next meeting?
I don't remember.
Okay.
There's not a timeline on it because, so we might bring it just with LCAP. I was still talking with Martha about that, I'm sorry.
Okay. And he is helping us meet that, so hopefully we'll be able to get you a draft so you can kind of get a look at it before it comes for approval.
Can we go back?
Sure.
Local Educational Agency.
Agency, yeah.
That's what LEAs are.
Thank you.
The $100,000 we're getting for PI, how does that have to be spent?
Well,
It's kind of like Title I. It
Yeah.
has the same restrictions as Title I. It's supposed to be spent to support the schools in their improvement.
and it's at a district
Right.
office level. It's
It's given to the
centralized.
district office in order to support the schools in their program improvement, and improving their programs.
Okay. So, is that the right one? So as far as state priorities and fiscal resources, our next steps that we would like to bring forward is when we focus on personnel. We feel that right now we have coaches and we have learning facilitators, and we're thinking that perhaps the title of specialist is more appropriate. And what we mean by that is a specialist can specialize in a particular content area or a particular area of education or learning and still serve as a coach. They could still go into classrooms, they could still model lessons, but for our people currently who are holding those positions, I think they do more than just be in the classroom, and I think that because of that, it has created conversation around what is their role. So I'm thinking if we move to the label of specialist or the title of specialist, it would help to be a little more transparent about the work that we expect them to do in relationship to developing curriculum, to help with professional development, et cetera, on a more larger scale than just in the classroom. We also are suggesting that we need to increase, at least for a period of time, our humanities coach, or now specialist, from 1.0 to 1.5. We have not been able to really touch ELD at all, English Language Development. And I think it's because we're doing Common Core State Standards and Balanced Literacy, and ELD lives in ELA. It is across the curriculum, but I think that's the place where you will get the most growth out of English language development. And so we would like to really have the humanities specialists or coaches take ownership of that. The funding options could be supplemental because that is for our English learners, LCFF. It could also come out of that program improvement 1 year at least of funding because it does focus on English learners. And we could use the partial tax because that's where currently our humanities coaches are paid out of. And one of the stipulations about passing the partial tax was to support students who were in need. The other thing, the area that we would like to have considered or to move forward on is our 21st Century Learning Facilitator. And again, moving that position to a specialist position for access, equity, and innovation. We are looking at that particular title because innovation, in our opinion, will allow us to continue those 21st century learning initiatives that we started, and we want to continue to move forward, at the same time providing an opportunity for us to look at response to instruction and intervention. because this position is so embedded into the district work, we think that we should move it away from the foundation funding and under the district umbrella. And then the options for funding, again, could be the supplemental LCFF, parcel tax, and again, program improvement, but again, that's only for 1 year. Are there any questions about this particular slide?
Oh, wait, see.
So the next area of personnel is really around the counseling aspect of our work and the social emotional development. We currently have 2 counselors in the district, one at IBL serving the 6th through 8th grade students, and then one at the K-8 schools who is to service just the grades 6 through 8. And so this counselor is divided among 3 schools. We're finding that it's a huge task and been done very, very well, but we're now getting to kind of that tipping point where with the social media aspect, with the students really getting to know the counselor really well, there is that it's really difficult to keep it at kind of just 6th through 8th grade. So we do have an opportunity in looking at other funding sources through mental health dollars. Mental health dollars really were to come to the district, but San Mateo County, as school districts and a consortium, what we call our SELPA, made the decision to keep the mental health dollars that come from the state in the SELPA. And yet, it can be divided up among the districts. It used to go to the county. Now it comes to the districts. So these mental health dollars are for students who have mental health needs, who have IEPs. They're in the special education program. However, we do have our school psychologists, which we pay out of our general fund or base LCFF. So we currently have 4.5 school psychologists. We could add an additional 0.5 out of mental health dollars and feel very comfortable that we can leverage the funding sources for the positions so that we can allocate one psychologist or we will not have to share as many psychologists with schools, and we can therefore shift the counselor to maybe 2 school sites instead of going to 3. We would increase one school with psychologist time who could also take on more of a counseling role because they are funded out of LCFF base. The mental health portion that pays that particular psychologist's salary would then come out of the mental health dollars. So we feel that by making this shift, we are really sort of leveraging our funds well in that social emotional aspect, and would like to take next year to make this shift and see how it helps supports the students at the schools.
Where will that 0.5?
Well, so right now we have 4.5, and they're kind of disaggregated out. Based on our conversation tonight, we can bring forward our kind of staffing at the next session, so you could see kind of how it looks, because they all do different things. Some do non-public schools, some do. So we'd like you to see how that could look. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I was going to say, that would be helpful, and also to see how the counselors would change as well. Like, so this is, here's where the psychologists are working, and here's where the counselors are working, and here's where that would change if we did this. But in general, I think nobody would object to more counseling. I don't.
So our next step would be that Ray will then move forward on flying a job act, because we do have a psychologist who resigned who was a .5, and now we would like to hire at a 1.0. Okay.
And then the counseling service moved from 6-8 to include more grades?
In all likelihood, because I think that's kind of what's happening right now. I mean, it's still not the best, but it's better than what we had for a particular counselor. Okay, any questions? Okay, and then so other. As you heard, we do have a potential sizable hit in relationship to the need to have a more robust Wi-Fi system. I also believe that there needs to be a consultant to come and tell us what those needs are. So how does that process work?
So we're talking with school districts and getting recommendations and references, and then it's under the limit of what we would need to do an RFP on, so we'll just notify the board probably through the weekend review when we have information about that consultant.
Okay. And so because that is a hit to our next year's plan, right, to purchase hardware, a recommendation could be that we look at our Common Core state standards spending plan that we adopted last time, and we modify that plan and bring it forward in May, and we shift the dollars. We have some dollars in instructional materials because we anticipated purchasing math adoption, and yet we're not finding strong material. We are purchasing some CPM, but nothing for the K through 5 at this particular time. So, and we did not put any dollars in the technology line. So we propose that we bring forward a amended Common Core State Standards Plan and shift some of the instructional money into technology so we can continue to purchase more hardware, in addition to potentially moving forward on a more robust Wi-Fi system. And then we'll have to cross that bridge when it comes as far as instructional materials. We may have to do like math adoption and do it over a number of years or something to that effect. Or hopefully the state will move forward. One of the things that I know that we are advocating for are additional funds for Common Core state standards implementation. The other thing is we talked about the capital outlay wireless upgrading, and then we do have we've started that process of the organizational and efficiency review. School services came out, I believe it was last week, and has done their interviews with the various people that they wanted to speak with. They're finalizing with some phone conferences, and then we should be getting a report by about mid-May to be able to make some determinations as far as next steps are concerned. The one thing, however, that they did want us to know is that, of course, in looking at the opening of our facilities manager, that we do need it. We may do some job description modifications and title changes, but that position is a critical one that we will be moving forward on as well. So any questions?
Good thing that was only a 5-minute presentation.
No, 10. It was scheduled for 10.
Oh,
so
we'll make up.
Okay. Report on work study crafting a plan for fiscal alignment district PTOs and PEF.
Oh, we'll make a.
Okay.
And I appreciated the opportunity, March 26th, we had a work study and brought the PTOs, the Pacifica Education Foundation, the school board, together in relationship to seeing how we might do some realignments of fiscal alignment. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy yet of like a report of findings. In speaking with Janelle just briefly, she feels that she has some areas of next step that we can go. It was, she felt that our district is in a really great place. We have a lot of community support and people with common desire to support student learning. And so I'm excited about trying to see where we can go with our next steps in relationship to the fiscal alignment. I think there was some good discussion, some very open discussion, and I look forward to our continuing work. I do have a joint meeting with the PTO and PEF. We're supposed to meet next week, but it's spring break. So I've proposed to meet March 21st, and hopefully we'll have next steps at that time, or a report at that time that might generate some discussions as well. Any questions?
Just a comment.
Yeah.
You know, I think I would like to encourage that PEF PTO meeting with you and perhaps even a board rep there, because I think that one of the things is validating how important these groups are to how the district works, and part of that is paying respect to them by getting them in the room and hearing what they have to say, and us as a board understanding the value of it, because clearly I was struck by the fact that some things that I thought had been said many times seemed to be new information to people, and that there wasn't as much communication as I would have hoped of stuff that's of long standing. And I think the board needs to do whatever it can to help that happen more, and to make sure there's more communication so that people are being heard on a regular basis. And there seem to be some parallel conversations of, you know, it's people saying, well, I don't know what's going on, and it's like, well, those folks are sitting actually next to you and have been for some time. And I don't know if it's just the personalities in the room, or if it's more systematic or systemic. Systemic, thank you.
We are meeting on, or I do have a scheduled meeting for the 21st if there are.
I'm good.
If there's a board member that would like to go. Oh.
No, I think it's important.
We could take two.
I'll take it can you send me the date and I'll
Yeah.
try the time.
Great. I think it's part of paying respect to the folks that we show up.
Thank you. I'll send that information to you and kind of the little agenda that
So at what time on the 21st?
4 o'clock. It goes from 4 to 5.
Okay. Prop 39, California Clean Energy Jobs Act, request for qualifications proposals.
Yeah, so the Prop 39 for the California Clean Energy Jobs Act was passed last year, and the final guidelines just came out in December from the state of California and were adopted by the California Energy Commission. Now, for Pacifica School District, we've already received $130,000 for planning funds, and we've been working closely with the San Mateo County Office of Education in getting guidance from them on how to proceed. This is a 5-year timeline for us, and the funds will be approximately $100,000 over the next 4 years. So we want to be thoughtful in the planning of how we're going to spend these funds. I've kind of summarized what we've done up to date so far, We've been attending trainings with San Mateo County Office of Education. They've partnered with the San Mateo County Energy Watch, and they've been very helpful in assisting us and guiding us through some of the audits that we need to complete and some of the benchmarking. If you remember, the board approved a resolution in December for Bright Schools so that we can get $20,000 of funding to complete some of those energy audits. We've also completed some training in-house here. Our staff have been learning how to use the PG&E portfolio manager. So we've been working, moving forward with Prop 39 funds, but at this time, we don't feel like we have the in-house staff and the expertise to actually devise an expenditure plan over the next 5 years and really pinpoint where are the areas that we can really gain efficiencies and spend the funds in the best manner. So what we're looking at now, because initially San Mateo County Office of Education thought they could hire an energy manager and we could several school districts could share, but in looking at the regulations, once they were adopted in December, we really need to do what's called a request for qualifications or a request for proposal in order to get a qualified consultant to help us with the expenditure plan. And it's not something that San Mateo County Office of Education can provide us with at this time. So what I'm proposing tonight is that the board authorize staff to go ahead and prepare a request for qualifications, request for proposal. We would want to include a member of the Green Team in this process and also hopefully a board member to help us with this request for qualifications, and then in the selection of a consultant, and then bring back to the board in maybe the beginning of June a proposal for hiring a consultant. And then at that time, the consultant would start our expenditure plan for Prop 39 and how we'll be spending those funds over the next 5 years. And I already do have some draft requests for qualifications from the County Office of Ed that I would start working on with this team that I could put together if the board authorizes us to move forward tonight.
Okay, do we have a motion to issue an RFQ for consulting services in order to develop a plan for the Prop 39 funding?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All
Wait, discussion.
Oh, discussion.
What do you need us to do?
Well, we would like a board member to participate in the request for qualification process. So I would pretty much write up the proposal and issue it to the various vendors, but it would be nice to have a board member's input in the selection of the consultant. And also a Green Team. I will contact the Green Team and get a person from the Green Team to help with that process as well.
Do you have a timeline or?
It would be over the next month.
I'll check. Sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Anything else? All right. All in favor?
Passes 4-0.
All right. Adoption of resolution number 2014-04-09-A, California School Cash Reserve Program participation.
Okay, so this is what we call the TRAN, the Tax and Revenue Anticipation Note, and it's basically a loan where school districts are able to obtain these loans at low interest rates. And this is really planning for next school year. Our cash flow has improved with Proposition 30 and the education protection account that we have. However, this year, we still actually borrowed $2.3 million to get us from April through June, because the state still is not paying us for like our May and June apportionments until July and August. Now, when the governor's May revision for 14-15 comes out, we're expecting that we're not going to have as many cash flow needs, but this is the time for the board to approve this resolution in planning for next year. And then as we update our cash flows and close our books, and in the fall of next year, we would be able to then issue another loan if needed for the spring of 2015.
Do we have a motion for adopting resolution?
Yes.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's a long one. Discussion?
Second.
All in favor?
Passes 4-0.
Just trying to save you from yourself, Andrea.
Facilities update, that's short.
Oh, look at that, we caught up.
This is an information item for the board. I tried to help you guys catch it. Always speak fast. So this is information for the board. At least once a year, sometimes twice a year, we try to bring you an update of what our maintenance department has been up to and what kind of issues we've had around the school, so you can see the types of repairs, types of things we've been fixing in the schools and upgrading in the schools. And so we listed by school, trying to see if there's anything to point out. There is some roofing things going on that we're working on, and there was a contract tonight for one of the Ocean Shore portables that we're going to work on next. The biggest item that we've been working on is Ortega, the flooding in the Ortega office and library, and we've had several meetings with the city of Pacifica. We do have the civil engineer on staff. We've had our architects from our modernization, Quattrotri Quack, QKA has come out, and I can't even say the full name, but they've come out and advised us. And we are at the stage now where we're trying to get some sort of a cost-sharing agreement with the city of Pacifica, because the water does come from the top of the hill through our fields, and so there is a lot of water that comes from the community nearby. And so we're looking at options with the city of Pacifica. In the last meeting we had a good option suggested that would be less expensive, but our civil engineer hasn't yet drawn up those plans. So that's the biggest issue we're dealing with right now, and we hope to have that resolved, before we get out of school this year, so we can fix it over the summer. Other things.
Was there any flooding with these last set of rains?
No, and we haven't had flooding because
Only benefit of the drought.
The temporary hold is holding?
Yeah, the temporary hold, Isaac, our plumber, did it, was really clever. He put a screen on the blacktop before the baseball field, so the screen blocks the water from going through the pipes and down the parking lot and actually floods our baseball fields. And so this temporary fix is holding out. Even with that last heavy rain that flooded part of Lindemar, our school was still in good condition. And that's also because our maintenance people and the city were out there working with the principal on that day to make sure there was no flooding. So we're going to keep monitoring Ortega, and hopefully we'll have another update for you for the next board meeting. What Ray put up there is just kind of a visual, so you can see by school the number of work orders that our department has completed from July through February. And then the next, one of the other things I wanted to mention before this next one was we have really been working on the safety. We've worked on the locks in all of the schools. We've completed the blinds at Valley Mar, and we're ready to do Sunset Ridge. We're getting bids on the other schools. So hopefully by the time we come back in August, all of the blinds will be done, all of the
blinds for the insides of the
doors? Windows, the little, so the teachers can close the blind. And
on the doors?
On the doors, on both doors, internal and external, and any of the breakout rooms that, students might be in. So we're really getting close to feeling like we've accomplished all of those safety needs. The fire department does have the lock boxes outside of all the schools, and police and fire have the code and they have the keys. So they have access to the schools now if they need to. So that's been accomplished.
They agreed to share a code.
So the last thing is the preventative maintenance update, and this is a list of things that we do on a routine basis to keep the schools in good repair. And, hopefully next year, as we move forward, we want to start working on our facility master plan and work on, a long-term plan for the buildings of when the bigger items like roofs need to be replaced and things like that. So that's a goal for the future.
Okay. And remind me again, how often do they redo the playgrounds? Telling us what's safe and what's not?
It's 7 years, 7 to 10 years, and we completed our play structure upgrades. We had phase 1 and phase 2, so all of the play structures were safe. Now, it doesn't always last for 7 years because the safety standards change from year to year based on injuries and weather conditions.
So theoretically, we have a couple years before they come out and tell us what we have is not safe anymore.
Exactly. And so we'll continue with those safety inspections, and then that will be part of the facility master plan.
I don't remember surveillance system at Ortega School.
So that came up last year, and that was initially somewhat of a safety concern, when we were looking at safety for the campuses, because Ortega is the only campus that really is wide open. Some of our other campuses were always closed, like IBL has always had a closed campus, Sunset Ridge, always a closed campus. Ortega, because of the layout of the campus, is not a closed campus. There's openings on both sides, the Loretta side and the other side. So initially there were some concerns from that community about safety. But then what really happened was vandalism. They were hit every weekend with vandalism. And so we looked closely at that and felt that that was the school to put safety, security cameras in, and it's worked really well for that campus. And we don't feel like we need it at any of the other campuses right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Did we catch somebody doing the vandalism? Is that why?
Yes.
Okay.
Give Isaac our thanks for keeping Ortega dry.
Yes.
Yes.
He's worked hard.
All right. Be mad.
Okay, be mad. This is Board Member Action Day. It's supported by CSBA, and that's the day where they set aside to have our school board members, trustees, visit the state and local legislators that represent our areas. And so with that, it will be May 9th this year with a webcast or webinar on May 1st. So they will provide us with who you go see, etc., but we submit the names and then they get that information to you. So last year, Matt was able to attend, and then Eric was going to, and I think that something happened.
His back.
Yeah, something. So you were unable to. But. So I was just wondering if there's anyone who would like to attend.
Do you have the times? I don't remember seeing the times.
It's during it depends on what the legislators can do, so you kind of have to just take the day off and they figure it out. I think what we did last year was Kevin Mullen was in Sacramento, but we were able to meet with a staffer of his, and a bunch of the sort of usual suspects got together and all went at once instead of trying to schedule serial meetings all throughout the day. And then Jerry Hill had one big meeting with 5,000. Oh, and the superintendents came too, right? So he just had one huge meeting. It was, I'll try to do it again. I can't guarantee that day, but if you want to put my name in, then I'll do my best.
Do you remember when the webinar was that you had to see?
Well, the webinar goes up a couple days before, so and then it's stored, so you don't have to watch it at any particular time.
I could do it.
Okay.
I might be able to get out of a meeting.
Should we
Then you should
have
definitely do it.
an
Yeah.
alternate in case Matt can't, or do you think doesn't?
If one, really, if
One goes.
if two people go, that's fabulous. But really, if one person, it'd be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Williams.
So as part of the Williams case, the board is required to review quarterly and report to the county any complaints in the areas of textbooks and instructional materials, teacher vacancy or misassignment, and facility conditions. And I'm happy to report that we haven't had any complaints in this quarter to report.
All righty. Board bylaws, policies, and administrative regulations. BP 5141.4, child abuse prevention and reporting.
I have something on this one. Let's see. I guess about 2/3 of the way down, there's a paragraph that begins, parents, guardians may contact the superintendent or designee to obtain procedures for filing complaint against the district employee or other person whom they suspect or whom they allege has engaged in abuse of a child at a school site. So I just my question is when you say school site, does that also extend to school facilities or school events that are not held on site? Because we obviously, as a district, have a ton of field trips.
You know, we could probably add that for clarification. We'll check, I would say yes.
I mean,
but-
if it's a school activity at a separate place, is it still considered to be school site because it's a school activity, or do we need to clarify that?
Yeah, so
I
let's,
think if we did add it, it would be and/or school-related events.
Do you know why they recommended the change from suspect to allege?
Didn't state.
okay, what's the difference?
Yeah, what
between
would
That
be the
is
difference?
really-
The new buzzword? Or-
Yeah.
Words mean things, I guess.
Well, everything now is legality, so everything they have to say allegedly.
Alleged.
All right, AR 5141.4, child abuse prevention and reporting.
Just a question for all of us, which is, I know that this is my only job where I'm a mandated reporter, and I was curious, are firefighters
Yes.
mandated reporters?
Yes,
So
I'm a
everyone
mandated
else has
reporter.
already gone through this training, and I'm the only one who actually hasn't been to any kind of mandated reporter training. Okay, so if you can let me know when the DO's training is, and I will attend that.
So we do
Wow.
mandated reporter trainings annually.
Please.
About 30 years worth, yeah.
So we do our mandated reporter training annually in the district, at the school sites, and here also at the district office. So it would be our pleasure to include any one of our trustees in one of our upcoming trainings.
Well, I guess the question, I mean, I've had it
Right.
many times, but the question is,
Updated.
should we, is there a policy, or should we have a policy about
Board members.
board members being mandated to go to training? If we're mandated reporters, we,
Yeah, you should be
Probably.
Doesn't
trained.
doesn't this cover us? I mean, does this, because this board policy says that, I suppose it says employees, and I don't know whether, since we are paid by the school district, I think technically we're employees of the school district, so we're covered by this policy, and probably
Yeah.
we should
probably
go.
should be trained.
Yes, if you go to the second page,
Yeah, it lists
second to the
it.
last paragraph, it describes who the mandated reporters are, and it does say employees in there.
So we should, let's follow up with, I bet you we could call CSBA and then see what kind of process they have that would be a appropriate process for us to follow.
How long is this training?
Oh, no more than an hour.
So worst case scenario, we could get the board members together and do it as a
Right.
group every year if we have to
Right.
do, because it says we have to do it every year. So.
Right.
Okay.
BP 5123, promotion, acceleration, retention.
Okay, don't kill me, Ray. So my question on this one was, since it talks about what happens if a child is eligible for acceleration from TK to kindergarten, my question was what happens into the lottery? Because if you are not, if you're not eligible to go into the lottery because your child's eligible for TK because they have a fall birthday, then, and your child stays in TK, then they're eligible for the kindergarten lottery. But if they accelerate into kindergarten, then they would essentially have to skip the lottery. And they would have to go, they would have to go to whatever school had a spot. And so my question was if we can put some thinking into how that would work. And I know that we don't, Ray was like, we don't accelerate much, and I was like, I totally understand that, but all of these kids are in our schools right now. So they're all doing that, so I think it's probably not going to be that unusual that there are going to be some fall kids that are reading by the end of TK or whatever, and somebody goes, can we just put those kids into first grade or something next year? So, and then if those people feel like they get hosed on the lottery, that will make them mad. So I don't have a solution to that.
Yeah, so current practice is if they were accelerated, then whatever school has the openings at that time, that would be the choices that that student would have, which school to attend.
And if that was
And
today,
then they could
what
go
would
on a
it be?
wait list.
And then they would go, and then if the choice, if the school's full, then they would go on a wait list.
Right, but then it would be even worse, because they would be at the bottom of the wait list behind every single other person who had gone to kindergarten that year, because those people would have gone through the lottery already, so they would have gotten their wait list choices, and so those kids would automatically be at the bottom of the wait list for any school that they would choose. So I guess I felt like, as a fairness issue, everybody should get a chance to participate in the lottery, whatever the situation is.
So usually this gives us pause for thinking, right? So what we do, we bring it forward in the fall before all of the new process start to go into play. So if you could allow us the opportunity to kind of think it through, and we've heard kind of your thoughts, and maybe we could come up with some ideas in what might be a process to support that, or not. And so it gives us a few months to think about. It will not go into play with the current TKs who want to be accelerated or have petitioned, and they are holding spots. And so we're finding that maybe not to be the best approach either, you know. And so we're not sure what the right answer is. So thank you for the thinking, and we'll have to think about it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And then we would bring those recommendations to the board in August.
Right, or September, or something like that, yeah.
To then affect the lottery process.
With all the open enrollment things.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, plenty of time.
AR 5123? AR 3554?
That was only a little confusing.
It was
I actually really like it when, when you do that, because it actually really helps me figure out like why, you know, if you put a little note that says like, this is why I deleted this, this is what this is referring to, like, it saves me from having to ask a lot of questions after, so.
Yes, the things, student organizations include parent organizations. Yeah, that, I clarified that part. And then Caitlin indicated all of the rules are changing, the food the federal rules are changing?
Yeah, July 1st, there's some additional changes. So when we do our update, we have a food service update coming up in the May board meeting. We'll outline some of those changes for you. They're constantly changing.
For the better.
Well, unfortunately, they're not constantly funding them either.
Right.
Future agenda items.
Okay, so we were able to, the North Coast County Water District contacted us. They'll be here to do a presentation on water conservation in May. And then I had the Jefferson Union High School District has a grant with Daly City, Shaquille Ali.
Yes.
And they are working on some anti-bullying campaigns, and so they'd like to present to the board in June 4th. So they will be coming forward to do that. Other than that, I think the rest is about the same, but we do need to look at our graduations now, our promotions, to see who can attend, which ones. And then we do have some events on the back page, or the second page.
And then also at that June 18th meeting, will we be discussing the July meeting and whether or not to hold the July meeting?
Yes, we do that, we should do that earlier. When do we do the July?
It says on June 4th, I see possible
Okay.
cancellation of July meeting.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Okay, thank you. I thought we had it on here. Why, do you want to cancel it? You don't want to cancel it?
Let's make vacation plans.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so should we just go down the line? IBL graduation?
Can we scroll up so I can see that? There you go.
Whoa,
no, back up, right there.
Right there.
There you go.
Perfect.
Can I ask a favor with the open houses? Can I swap out my Ocean Shore open house? Because
I have to be there anyway, so.
Kalima's daughter is graduating from high school.
Oh, wow.
So she asked.
No.
Doesn't seem possible.
She has two
So,
daughters.
is that, you're gonna trade that for a player to be named later, or what?
I'll trade it for whatever. What
Andrea-
You mean
wants
Kalima's
to-
son?
What?
Kalima's son.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that
Kalima's
right?
No, you said daughter.
Oh,
was
okay,
back.
okay.
What's the date on that again?
May
That's
22nd.
22nd, and I'll swap it for whatever.
I can't do any graduations, so I can do that.
Okay.
It's already on my calendar.
Okay, how about IBL graduation?
I spoke last year, so perhaps it's somebody else's turn. I'm tired of it.
All right.
What's
I'll
the
take-
date?
I'll take IBL.
Okay.
It's Friday the 14th.
It's Friday the 13th, even worse.
You were lucky you did.
Okay, Valamar on this June 16th.
That's a Monday. I can do that if
Okay.
no one else would like.
Janet. Cabrillo. Well, there, that's the 17th. Okay.
Now, the 17th I can't do, but I can do the 16th.
Okay, so would you mind, Eric? Switching.
Can you do the 17th?
No. Well, 3 o'clock, yeah, I could do 3 o'clock.
Okay.
I could do Cabrillo at 3.
Okay.
I can't do Ocean Shore at 5, because I have a meeting in the city at 6.
Okay, and maybe I'll ask Joan, since it's at Woodside, is she out there already, Woodside High School?
She's probably
Yeah, that's
closer to there than she is
closer.
here. Yeah.
Maybe I'll see if she could do.
Unless it's a conflict with her own, and their school calendar might be similar to ours. But I'm grading AP exams through the 18th, so I can't do any.
Okay.
Did Richard, did you say you were going to do Valamar?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll ask Joan. If not, we can, at the next board meeting, we can figure that one out. On the, for events to attend, our Allen Flynn Award is going to be May 16th, and then the Kent Award is the 19th.
I'm going to go to both.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll be sending out an email tomorrow about the Ken Award.
Yeah, I'll go to both too.
Yeah, on my calendar too.
Good. Matt?
I can do Elma Flynn, but I can't do the Kent Awards. I already apologized to Ellie.
Oh. Okay.
Okey dokey.
Anything else that
You're dying to.
Adjourn. 8:56.
Are we on time?
Oh, yeah,